I doubt we're gonna see the Night Stalker one. Just FYI, I think it's fallen off compared to what it was. It's like the whole concept of bounty hunter pos one as well, right? These heroes in the very right game could work, but overall they're better suited in the free roll.
Yeah, and it's not great against either a Magnus or a Dragon Knight, depending on what.
To relate it to
3 is.
The TB ban, it's like imagine if you got told you could have metamorphosis for 5 minutes, but then it's on cooldown for 5 minutes. Right? It's like think about the way you have to play the game when you have a TB. It's like meta is everything. If you misuse it, you get punished. Night Stalker is like it's not even a punishment you choose. Like you do have your ultimate for a short window, but for 5 minutes, your opponents know they're probably safe.
They could pick the Ursa here again, actually.
Yeah, actually don't mind the Ursa. It's really good against the DK. Magnus can't hang around to farm that well. He done fine against an AA last time.
They're going to have to decide pretty sharpish.
Yeah, I think if you go for Jug, you're like farming a little bit slower than you optimally want.
Venom. Okay, right.
Okay, so you might be right about the Night Stalker then.
That's probably position 1 Night Stalker.
Yeah, because this should be a Venom free. Alright, good call.
Toby likes to play Veno.
That sounded really caveman like Toby like Venom.
Toby like Venom.
Spit. Toby kill.
They've never played the Night Stalker this patch. First time playing it.
Interesting. It's been a while since I've seen the POS 1 Night Stalker. It was a really popular pick for the SEA region, especially for TNC. The Chaos Knight, however, HellRaisers, they're looking to accelerate the Chaos Knight through the mag. This is interesting because I don't feel like I've seen this much, especially with the changes to Chaos Knight. Like Chaos Knight for me went from being like a kind of solid laning hero to this slow bully that kind of needs some backup. It's also weird the way they changed his ultimate. He kind of in ways feels a bit more like Naga, I want to say, in that you're kind of justified in using Phantasm to farm creeps.
You use it to farm. You can use it to bait. You can use it to scout.
Which, like, we're hearing that. There's Lotus somewhere cringing right now. He's listening to that. It's like, farming with Phantasm? That's not how but it is. It's like, it's such a low cooldown now.
I think they're gonna do some sort of timing push around this Dragon Knight, kind of a level 11, and the Chaos Knight getting early farm off the mag. Because that's Chaos Knight's core problem as a core, is that it can't farm. If you give it a mag, then it will farm very, very, very quickly. And then push people hard.
Yeah, but that's the power of it.
They're pushing into a very quick Viking GG draft. So I quite like Viking GG here, simply because they're going to be in a bit of a timer, but I believe with all 3 of those cores, Venomancer's a little slow, but
a little. I call him a slug for a reason.
Yeah, slugs are speedy little things.
I think I'm gonna resonate what's clearly being thought in Twitch chat. You goddamn Viking fanboy. But in fairness,
I love it. But in fairness, I've been proven right.
You even interviewed them. Clearly, anyone you've interviewed, you have bias towards. No,
I do, but I've interviewed close to everyone now, so I've never interviewed anyone from HellRaisers.
There it is, guys. What? Not Funnick? Gotta get the.
I'd be up for Funnick. I don't know if he speaks English. I think he
speaks some.
Yeah, a little bit.
But you're not wrong about these drafts. Like, there is a different way of looking at it. Is that if I can have a draft that can play fast, and absolutely should. Reason they absolutely should is because at the end of the day, while it is a Chaos Knight, a hero that's kind of infamous for like using any new item very well, but taking a long time to get to it. He's in a lineup with a mag, like you mentioned. So he's going to have this accelerant, right? So I think, like, if you're looking at the ceiling, it's higher for the side of HellRaisers.
It's a very, very high ceiling and a pretty low ceiling. Well, what's good, if they get the Ags on the Night Stalker, they can start to burst down illusions pretty quick. But those illusions are going to be very tanky very quickly, so...
Also, that Ags is really deceptive. Like, Night Stalker Ags...
Not as good as
it's always been about farming. It's such a dumb one to look at. You're like, how is this about farming? And you just watch him make an entire creep wave disappear. Like, that would be it. But yeah, it definitely can be potent. I think there's kind of a risk that Duraccio can kind of snowball in his bot lane, though. Because while you do have Gale, Reality Rift. Reality Rift and a stun, and the Venomancer's dead because you have the AA as well. That this combo, feels dirty. Like if he gets the long stun, you're dead every time.
I think this Venomancer could struggle. It's not a last pick that I'm.
You're not like, wow,
Overly.
you got him, boys. Like that moment came when you saw the final pick coming out of HellRaisers. Like, yep, that's a lane winner right there.
But again, they can control space pretty well with it. They like to do that Viking GG. They like to have an area that's theirs, and they own it, and they can do that with the Venomancer. But they've got very quick. It's just slow. It moves slow.
Yes, that's always the crux of Venomancer. He is a well, no, he's a mini slug. Underlord is the giant slug.
Underlord has got legs though.
He has, yeah. He's somehow like no. If you put on the cosmetic that was created by Synderen, no, not Synderen, sorry, Sun's Fan and the Dirt Cinema people, you will see that he looks like a giant slug.
Fair enough. He does look a little bit like a giant slug.
Armored slug, but slug nonetheless. It's like
He's
if
a
an
fine slug.
armadillo and a slug mated and had a kid.
Isn't Venomancer more of a snake?
He is, but he moves around like a slug because snakes they can be quick.
Snakes can be quick, yeah.
Does he look quick?
No, he does not look quick.
He looks
like
happy though. Like I feel like you could just put a jolly tune on to Venomancer just slithering around, which is kind of surprising considering like wasn't he human? I think he's human. He got turned into this, right?
Mm-hmm.
But he moves so jolly. You wouldn't think that he, was upset about it.
I think he's going to have a fun time in this lane, though, actually. Although it depends on how well AA shuts down everything.
I think the first two levels are critical.
The first two levels are good. I don't think the CK is going to be very happy going on him.
No,
just simply because he's going to be low the whole time.
It's also annoying because now that Strike is just chance based, you don't have this guaranteed sustain, right? So especially in the early phases of the lane, I feel like Chaos Knight as a hero is a little bit underwhelming in his ability to take a beat.
Mm-hmm. He is tanky. He's got a lot of armor, a lot of health.
And
But
he can give flips.
what's good about Venomancer against him is that he doesn't particularly care about armor, and he doesn't particularly care about health.
But you
He's
just
got a
saw
lot
what
of damage
happened there, right? Yeah, that's half his health instantly gone, and they're gonna have another bolt. If AA was here, he's 100% dead. Even if Tiny was here, Tiny wouldn't be able to protect Toby.
I guess he can regen up off the Chaos Strike, but it just depends on how high levels he goes in Poison Sting eventually. He'll just begin to tick him down.
Yeah, it's not as ridiculous of a matchup as it used to be, right? Because Venomancer used to have that health regen reduction. Aramis, however, in a lot of trouble. Cold Feet is going to proc, and you're actually
he's
changed his
out of there.
target. Yep, he's going to kill the courier.
Got the courier as well. Wonderful.
I think
What a
Horatio, he could have got that if he chased, but I guess he didn't want to miss out on CS because he had the Chaos Strike coming off, Chaos Bolt rather coming off cooldown.
He could have got it, but I think,
It's like, is it
I think
worth
it
it?
would have been tricky. He might not have got it, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean the cast range isn't over the top on Chaos Bolt. It should be a lot easier now because I like this. He's gone for the 1-1-1 build. It used to be that you could actually get away with things like 1-0-2 or 0-1-2, but now with this build, maybe we'll be able to get a kill because the Cold Feet will proc and Toby will go kaput.
Oh dear. How's the mid lane going?
So far, Boom is getting a lot more than Kasani, and they are both
getting a lot
having the
more.
crap kicked out of them right now.
I love watching. This is what mid lane is now. It's just two people on no life looking at each other. Who blinks first?
You start that off with the I love watching, as if yes, I've played too much support. I have had to bend to the will of my mids, and now they will suffer.
Now they suffer.
They do
They're men on the edge.
My favorite part
nervous
is when you
breakdown.
get those people who they want you to war. It's you got your own wars now. It's kind of like watching the kid grow up and leave home, right? It's the mid must take responsibility for himself. He can't come crying to mama and dad for support anymore. And you can tell that Valve
No more
went
bottle crowing.
really far to commit to that idea, right? It's actually going to commit to Kasani. Toss back. Really tanky
I don't
though.
think they're getting
Roll in,
this
going to backfire into Boom, the bat. And he's going to be brought down as Nomgrada does arrive as well.
That was a good rotation from Lil there. He picked up the haste rune.
So just I was about to say about how mid has been driven towards this individuality where no one else gets involved lane. We see 5 heroes battling in the mid lane across the two teams. But if you actually look at the way that Valve has changed the map, kind of changed certain things around cores, etc., and like wards, you can see how they have this philosophy about the mid lane as a true 1v1 and how hard they've been like working to solidify that idea.
I think they want it to be this risky, tricky lane where things can go wrong, and it can be the problem with bottle crowing and when it was so easy to rotate in constantly is that it just became very stable, very, very boring. They want it to be tricky and they want it to be exciting in the middle of the lane, which I think it is at the moment. We see a lot of stuff like that happen.
Like Simon's gonna arrive to reach nighttime. The Shag can. Oh wait, no, it's the boss one. Night Stalk. He's just gonna stand still and farm. But yeah, you're right. I think the kind of giveaway of how things were getting weird was when almost any melee. Actually, any melee hero could kind of be picked mid, right? There was a phase where that was starting to creep in because they were so bulky with the like stout shields. The lane was so long. They wanted to make it more kind of skill dependent. Nice rotation from Lil though. Gets the kill.
It's another really good rotation from Lil. He's controlling this game.
Yeah. He did get his ass whooped a little in the top lane, but it was
a little, but you know, he made hay.
When life gives you lemons, you make lemonade. Phonic is making gold. This isn't really the dominant performance we're used to seeing when we see Mag Phonic. I feel like more often than not, when he has this hero, he asserts dominance on the lane. But it's just not an easy one. You've got Io Night Stalker as your opponent. It's like they have so much sustain.
You know, Boom's still reasonably comfortable here, even after dying.
It's one of those
37
lanes,
to
right?
33.
Like you see quad picked, you have a DK, but like this works both ways. Neither hero should die to each other independently. However, with that roll in, Lil tried to save the day. Instead, he baits DK into dying. Aramis will be brought down with a rotation non grata. Grata having the gravitas of a pos free from the pos 5. Like gravitas. What's my word today? Gravitas.
Is the word you're searching for.
I was like, I think I'm in the right place. Now I'm in the wrong place. Now I'm in the right place.
You're in the wrong. You're in the
I
right.
wish I was like non grata and in the right place, because so far his rotations have been getting vengeance.
They have been good. You were in the right part of the dictionary.
Nice, I found G.
You found G, but you stopped slightly too early.
The dumb part is that after the amount of hours I've had in Total War, I should know the word gravitas very well.
Why is that? I don't know.
It's one of like the stats on your leaders. I can't remember the other two. I just remember gravitas because it's a cool word.
It is
so cool that I forgot it a few seconds ago.
Yes, you clearly don't remember it.
Oh.
More people
I'm just gonna zoom out the camera, let go of the mouse keyboard, and we'll just stay here in the mid lane because this is where the party is. Psych,
where
lane.
the party's at, yeah.
Horatio, that's his Phantasm play, and right now it's looking a tad bit lackluster. Lil doesn't even try to deny his Chaos Knight and needs to be careful himself now. Toss in. Yep, in you go. Keep him busy. You got this, Toby. That'll be the script brought down. But don't worry, non grata once again. Look at this man with the gravitatus to run away.
He's got the gravity. The gravity to his personality.
The gravity might come into it soon because there's a clarity on Aramis. Up you go and down you go.
He could. No, he's not going to get this kill. Now Toby's feeling very comfortable. He's still not got boots, so he's a slow man and he's not planning. Oh, he's got them now.
It's just one of those heroes where you don't feel like it's ever that important, right? It's like you're gonna set up in an area of wards and let people come to you.
You're a tower. You're
Think Viper, right? Viper's like people have to come to me, and then they have to run away. Like it's never a case of I need to necessarily chase people. If they run away on like 10% HP, I consider that a win. You probably consider
Venomance is very much along the lines of if I build it, if I put down all these wards, they'll come.
Yes. And that way he's
I
not better as like Viper in terms of how you can flex him into the game. It's like if I was
he's like that friend. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, it's fine.
He's like that friend you have who always has parties at their house and refuses to go to anyone else's.
Yes, pretty much. He's like, can you just bring over like the Bacardi and some wine, Tiny? Huh? Like, look, there's a party boy here in the Chaos Knight. Let's party with him. Alka pop, some wine. Let's go, boys. Dirachi is just gone.
He is. Oh, he could survive this.
Nope. He
No,
ain't
there we go,
surviving
Boom
Diddly
in.
Squid. And Boom's like, is there more kills here? I believe so. Nongrata, they're not feeling safe. Phonic, the RP on the 2, but Nongrata doesn't even have level 6. There's no reinforcements coming out. Lil will not do enough damage. And Toby, he felt like finally leveling his ult. Doesn't matter how underwhelming it is, because Boom has the follow-up damage to end the day. Oh, look at that combo. It's ticking up. It's a one-times combo. Can we stop acting like it's a big deal?
Very underwhelming combo.
I don't know why it even comes up for one. I'm like, okay, good job. Like the Overshaker one's at least cool, right? It's like, oh man, it's like you're playing a fighter game and all these numbers are just stacking up. But then there's just that one.
Something happening in the middle lane. They're going on Boom.
It's a stun. It's another stun. It's a death.
That is nice.
Yeah, you saw that imminent moment where Shaz's like, 10 minutes has arrived. I must return to my slumber. But don't worry, guys. I have a Midas and we'll be ready in 15 minutes. Hopefully.
He's had a quiet old game.
That's just the nature of Night Stalker in a boss one role. Like, you're literally going, let me get a few items, then I'll do the thing that usually any other Night Stalker would do every 5 minutes. It's kind of funny the way that hero has changed as well, because he used to be the absolute bully of the game, right? You remember when he was picked as a support a lot? And the amazing thing is the psychological factor that Night Stalker has on a game. Similar to what you see with Spirit Breaker now, where because you can't see it or you don't know where it is, you have to play like it's in the shadow right next to you all the time. Spirit Breaker is definitely taking that role.
He was a game where he just used to dominate the games. He made the games about him.
I
And
remember
I think when you play him in a...
Oh, go ahead. I was just going to say, it was when I started casting. It was like for a whole year he was like that.
Yeah, exactly. It was everything. It was all... It would be a Night Stalker game. It's like Alchemist or something. If there's an Alchemist in a game, it's an Alchemist game. There's a period when it was a Night Stalker game. I don't think that's so much the case anymore.
Oh, it's a Night Stalker game now. Like, easy gold. My Midas is on cooldown. There were no creeps nearby, so there was nothing else to do.
He's going straight for a BKB, though, so he does want to fight.
Yeah, there's just so much lockdown. If you don't get... So here's the thing. Like, the whole concept of your Crippling Fear is nice. But what if I told you there are 4 heroes that can screw you over and you have to somehow silence them all? Probably easy to just build a BKB.
Probably easy to build a BKB.
Yeah. And some of them, like, someone will go for it, the BKB, of course, with the RP. Be like, just imagine you're in these fights and you get stunned for 4 seconds by Chaos Knight as a Night Stalker. You're going to die no matter what you build other than a BKB. If
you RP a BKB Night Stalker, though, it's like not that much of a good use of your time.
Let's be honest, right? Like, unless you're a POS 1 player, you never truly appreciate a good BKB. Because in their mind, they're like, this is good if they try and fight me, I'll get kills. But also, if they try and kill me, I can just BKB run away and hit more creeps. Yeah. I like to trivialize the role of the POS 1 sometimes.
The ultimate user for BKB as a position 1 is when they used to have the dragons in the... Not the dragons, the... Whatever those, the prowlers in the ancient camps.
Oh,
BKBing to stop that and stun.
The
Which you can do if you've got a
middle
5-second
finger.
BKB.
You could. If there was some people coming, it might be advised on times, but I wouldn't look at it as your first choice.
No. It's rare you're building a BKB to farm those stacks.
It's like someone that builds a blink dagger to move through the jungle quicker. Like, nice. Could have just got a Yasha. You're an Agi hero. It would have been quicker. I think that was... I think that's probably what they had in mind for anti-mage when they put the blink dagger really line in. The only reason an AM could possibly be building a blink is to farm quicker.
I don't think it's even necessary. Because at that point, how far away is any camp? Like, you can pretty much blink.
Like I mean, they kind of had something. Like, it was pretty obvious what they had in mind. Because you've heard the line, right? It's like, goes, blink dagger. Really? Which is still one of my favorites alongside, I think Bane's was blink dagger. And then he has like a, yeah!
Oh,
like
yeah, that's my favorite. Bane is very much, in my mind, like a kind of 80s new wave singer.
Aramis? Well, there's your singer in this game. Boom with the Sonic Wave. Try and bring Lil down. Not able to do it. They still lose the Tiny. And they are going to have a Dragon Tail in 2 seconds, so you need to get out of this. Finally, they'll be able to bring down Lil as Shad yoinks the kill on the back line. And all of a sudden, DK wants out. Kisai's still got quite a long time left on his Dragon Form, but the slow comes out from Kobe. The Sun's on the free. The Poison Nova's big as well. And Jirachi, he has to pop the ultimate, but what's his target here? They're going to try and right-click him down. The RP comes through. On point from Funnick. The heals out from Celery is sustaining up Shad in the meantime. They'll turn on the Boom and bring down the Quap. They will be able to kill the CK, but Shad, is he going to be able to walk away? It looks like he'll just about get away from this as they're not able to make contact rather with the brief fire.
You're going to take him down? Nah.
No.
Close.
One more click and it would have been good enough. But they do get the DK out.
Ooh.
Kobe.
Way off.
He said he's slow, but don't worry. Celery's there to turn him into a fortress, and Lil all of a sudden needs to get the hell out, but they do block. Toss forward on top of him. He's got the roll again, so he'll be able to get away. But they should be able to take this tier 1 tower.
No, though. I think they're a little worried.
They're reluctant. I mean, this is the thing. You've got a max Plague Ward Venomancer right now. You could very confidently set up and siege this. And you do have the catapult. Yeah.
That was
good
good for Viking GG, though. It was very close. They played well around that. Oh, dear. It's going into
Yeah, I said set up, not set up to die. But they did kind of leave him hung and dry there.
Yeah.
There wasn't really any
HellRaisers
other
just
objective
came into
for
his
him.
house and killed him.
Yeah, it's just like he's happy as lamb. He's like, this is a wonderful neighborhood. I think I'm gonna move the whole family here. Oh God, what is that coming towards me? And it was angry eyebrows through and through. But there's no other objective for him right now, right? Like, look on the map. Top's taken, bot's taken. Someone has to be here. And sadly, he drew the shortest straw. As often you do when you're the last one to reach the person holding the straws, Mr. 325 movement speed hero. Oh, I do like this though. He's going Crimson Guard.
That's a nice item to go here.
Yeah, the CK's going to tickle.
Because the problem is that he is going to be very squishy unless he goes these big items. And he needs to... I mean, the meme about Venomancer is that you just need to get your ult off. But if you're playing core Venomancer, you need to do slightly more than get your ult off.
Yeah, so in this case, he's going to get his ult off and then press 2 buttons. It'll be a Spirit Vessel and Crimson Guard, and then he has our permission to die.
Night Stalker is going for a Radiance.
It's a different way to go. Because we talked about like the
Guess it
farming
makes
side of
sense.
things, right? Like, oh yeah, Ags is pretty good. But what I like about this is mischance on the CK illusions. Like, they're doing everything to shut down the CK, and lots of damage with that attack speed you're getting from 100%.
It's just a lot of damage over time. They're just going to tick down the HellRaisers team really slowly. Like, slowly in a good way, if you know what I mean.
It's not looking slow for A right now. However, if Funnick can get an RP off, that might be different. The Yules does stop him in his tracks, though. They will maybe find a kill on the side, though. Aramis gets hit up by the stun from the DK. The roll in is able to keep in place to close the kill. And Toby, he's like, guys, it's only level 1 poison over. They're not scared right now. Will they be? He throws it out anyway. Sonic Wave, Dragon, Toby pre-tanky, but not tanky enough. Shad chases him with the BKB straight on top of the Chaos Knight, trying to bring him down. And the RP will be interrupted. Not a chance for Magnus as the Yules comes out from Boom again.
It's a really nice Yules.
Yep, 1 point twice now. That felt awkward at the start for Viking though, right? Like, you saw that moment where they Dark Ascensioned, and instead of going directly on top of the Dragon Knight, they gave him an opportunity to blink away.
Tiny is nearly at its blink as well. That's really helpful for them.
Yeah, this is kind of where they can start gank and spanking regularly. Because now they've got 2 heroes that can set up and then have a reload in, right? So now the Tiny can set up kills, the Quad can set up kills, and then you have the Night Stalker IO reload in. I think HellRaisers are going to keep it grouped even more now, which, in my opinion, like from my perspective, that's really worrying for their farm, right? Is if they had to keep shifting from side to side together and no one's able to split push, they're going to fall behind even with the Magnus and power.
They are behind. If they're behind with power, it's not a great place to be, is it?
The classic adage of a good Magnus game or a bad one. Have you got more gold than the enemy team with multiple melee heroes? If the answer is no, press in power harder.
Do you think if you press the button harder, it gives them more in power?
Maybe it's like, yeah, it's one of those charge up skills, right? You hold it longer and it goes for longer. Like, oh yeah, we start off at 10% and then we build up to, you know, the 30%.
You know, some Magnuses are just lazy. They don't want to hold the button for that long.
This is how we get them out of playing the heroes. We force them to have to actually, you know, commit to holding that button.
Venoman's has got an essence ring. He's going to be really difficult to take down now.
No longer will I die, he says. I mean, he is at that stage. He's like 1.5k HP, essence ring as well. He's going to have the
23 armor.
Vanguard in no time at all. So they do need to get rid of this tier 1 tower though. Like right now, you keep seeing this move from HellRaisers, right? Top to bottom, top to bottom. And they have no way of kind of interrupting that while that tier 1 stands.
Mm-hmm. They, HellRaisers are able to kind of control that upper bit jungle really easily with that tier 1 tower.
Mm-hmm. It's a case of now that it's daytime, you might see HellRaisers move out. Like this is something we talked about in the draft, right? They think of TB and Night Stalker's TB, right? Or a 5-minute cooldown. Yes, you have your ultimate, but if that gets forced in an awkward scenario like bot, all of a sudden you're surrendering the rest of the daytime to your opponents, and you have to like fall back to your side of the map hard.
He's gone off the Radiance now. He decided it was mad. And he's just going more tank. And then for a AC, which I guess is benefiting the Queen of Pain. So they're looking for this Queen of Pain to be a big old clickman.
I guess his thought process was like he wasn't getting the Radiance quick enough, right? So like it's going to come in too late. And also, judging by that last fight, they're not taking the CK illusion seriously. Like they've identified the damage from Toby is probably enough, whereas Heaven's Halberd is God. Like I just love this item in general. Any hero that has some sort of reliance on regen, right? It's the reason why if you think of Lifesteal as a hero, right? The moment he picks up a Sange, his ability to sustain in a fight feels like it's double.
Mm-hmm. And you're Sanging with a IO as well.
Mm-hmm. That's the big one.
He's getting pretty close to... He's got a mech and he's building into something. What's he building into?
He's got his mech. He's going... Probably a Glimmer Cape, I think, next. Ooh.
I think it's a Glimmer.
Alright. Aramis. Get some of the blink.
Well, that's the blink dagger.
Mm-hmm. That's a good one as well. Like, it doesn't look like a high priority kill, but it gets in the tier 1 tower. Which is the most important thing. So yeah, now like if it seems so trivial to point out, but like this was safety for HellRaisers, right? This little bubble here. But now that you draw the line back here, think about how many camps get removed. Or like maybe we'll give them this piece. So you draw it back, you're losing like half the camps you felt safe farming.
The clock is ticking though. This CK is going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. He's getting a BKB next. They are going to struggle in the late game here.
Yeah, that's something we hit on earlier, right? Is that out of all the heroes in this game, the one that gets the maximum value out of each and every item is CK. Like this hero has a slow rate of farm when you look at what he has himself without thinking about Empower or building Minuses or whatever for a good reason. Is because those illusions are so potent after like 2 or 3 items.
It's not about how much gold you get, it's about how you use it. And CK is a perfect example of that.
He's an item connoisseur.
He doesn't have a lot of friends, i.e. items, but the items he's got, they're really good to him.
Yeah, they'll go the extra mile, right? You know, while Night Stalker will convince his friend to loan him $5, Chaos Knight can convince his friend to let him borrow his car for the weekend.
They're going to go in on this Night Stalker.
He's decided the car wasn't enough. He wants the $5. And, ooh, nice reload out. They did force the Phantasm, so...
They forced the Phantasm and the Ice Blast.
The bigger one's definitely like Phantasm, but again, this isn't as bad as it used to be. It's a 75-second cooldown compared to like what it used to be, which I think was 120 seconds, I think.
You can use it to farm. They're going to push this tier 1 tower with it as well.
You know, the big players, you say, Phonic, follow my illusion. Just have them empower them. I think I've seen... Someone I was thinking when they made the changes to this hero and Phantasm, I was expecting maybe to see Octarine type builds. I think I have seen a few pros experimenting with it. Because like the whole concept really is you convert yourself into a Naga Siren. And then you just completely control the entire map.
I think you're not quite as much as a Naga Siren.
No, because like obviously she has
cooldown.
the passive built in, but it's you say that it's like a 70-second cooldown, right? But like Naga's is fairly long as well, and the difference is like your illusions do a lot more in a fight. But it's
They
the whole
do a
concept
lot in
of
a
farming.
fight.
I wouldn't be surprised actually if he takes the Phantasm duration at 20 in this game. The piercing spell immunity is good.
It's really good against the Night Stalker.
Sure, but you're dragging yourself into a silence, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whereas
Yeah, you
8 more
don't really
seconds.
want to.
Ooh. Aramis a little bit off the mark. That was the smoke play. This is all about getting control of Roche right now. They want to pick off so they can go take Roshan as nighttime arrives. And if they find the
They
CK,
might find the CK. Nah,
Yep.
the ship's in the night.
they'll cruise on by.
That was a real good scan. It's a pretty obvious rotation, though, to be fair.
Well, Shadow's actually committed. I mean, it's about to be nighttime, so he feels confident about this Dark Ascension. They're going to chase in on Durachia right now and force the BKB out. 3-second stun's going to do a lot of damage to him here, but there is the 10 from Maya to save the day. They did lose Tiny on the backline in the meantime. He does fight back, but Toby's in way too deep. And that's Phantasm value right there. BKB gets activated by Shad, but the right clicks are overwhelmed him quickly. Kasani has to back away with his BKB activated, and Booms has run out soon, so he needs to retreat. We'll be able to blink away, but on the side, Lil is low, but has found Celery. Key components of this Night Stalker being enabled so much, and it's going to ensure that he gets ticked down and out. And in the meantime, they'll be able to find the dieback on Aramis as well. He literally died in the same location.
This is not looking great for Viking now.
No.
They've been on a timer for a little bit, and that timer is beginning to tick ever closer to the Doomsday Clock. It's just too hard for them to take down the CK. He's got too much sustain. He's sustaining through the Venomancer really easily.
Mm-hmm. And part of that comes down to the fact, like, he's got this BKB. Even when the BKB's not there, your Phantasm acts as a basic dispel, so Spirit Vessel gets removed straight away. And also, the really painful part is Kasani's impact in this game. Like, the only thing he's contributing now is deaths, as they're going to bring him down again.
But it doesn't matter too much. Well, Kasani's doing alright. He's only got 2 deaths.
Yeah. So, like, the thing I was trying to highlight on that is that it's all on CK. So, if CK isn't carrying these fights, which we'll be able to do again with Phantasm back off cooldown, then you're in trouble. But when he's like this, easy pick on a Toby. Chase forward for more. Shad should be able to get away, though. BKB and out. But this is the difference, right? Like, CK of old versus new cooldown CK. Like, think about this whole process of what just happened if that was still 125-second cooldown.
Yeah, they wouldn't be able to use that twice. And he's going for the Satanic next, so it's just going to be more sustain. And all that Viking really have is... I mean, they've got a little bit of burst. They've got a Tiny, they've got a Queen of Pain, but they're not... They're about winning long, drawn-out fights with the Night Stalker and the...
It's all about the Venom.
and the Venomancer.
Yeah, it's like
The Io.
it sounds like an overstatement, but it really is all about the Venom. However, finding an easy pick on Earth Spirit, you definitely take that. Celery did go down, and Aramis will be found in the meantime. And this is just like you're seeing the way they fight, right? It's avoid the CK, and that's all well and good. But when are you going to be able to not avoid him? When are you going to be able to address him directly? Does that ever
You can
happen?
just jump right in your face. You can reality rift right into your house.
I mean, I have done cast range build Chaos Knight, and you do get quite far, but reaching into your house may be a little bit of a stretch. You get close, though. So, I don't know if you've ever seen it. I remember, you know when Neutral Items first came out and you could have as many you want? I would take all the cast range ones on the Chaos Knight, and you just drag them from downtown. It's like a pudge with a hook.
Yeah. Like a dangerous hook, a danger hook.
Yeah, like, you know when a pudge hooks you, it's like, in the first phase of the game, damn, he got me. But afterwards, you're like, oh, it's just a pudge hook. Whereas the Chaos Knight's dragging your ass in. You're done. You're just done.
Good stuff. Yeah, Toby's having to go for a Ghost Scepter here, which doesn't feel great. If you're building a Ghost Scepter and you've already built a Crimson Guard, then you're not. You're not having a nice time.
Haha, they won't click me now. Haha, they can't click me now.
Oh, and he's building a Bracer as well. Oh no, that's just living in his stash. He already had that Bracer.
He ran out of slots. And of course, he did pick up the Craggy Coat. I feel like Craggy Coat is quite often an underrated item in the tier 3 neutrals.
Oh, it's a lovely item.
Yeah. Like, players appreciate it, right? But you know, as a spectator, we've all been there. We sit there and go, oh, really? What's that doing for you? And then you think about the damage mitigation, it's huge. A lot of heroes...
Is it much of a coat, though?
I mean,
more of a cuirass, isn't it?
for all we know, there could be a zip on the other side.
There could be a zip. Is that what defines a coat for you, the presence of a zip?
How are you defining a coat? Like,
What about a duffel coat that's got, like Paddington Bear might wear?
Well, it has some means of doing it up.
Yes, that's true, a fastener. Yes, otherwise
then-
it's just a jumper, I suppose, isn't it?
Exactly. So it'd be craggy, craggy jump.
Cracky jumper. Or a sweater if you're American.
Sweeter. Boom. And he's trying to bait something here. He has got the BKB, and he wasn't quick on the click, and instead he's going to go down. I mean, he's actually been saved by Celery, but he's sustained it so much now, the turnaround's going to come in. Viking jumps straight forward on top of the Earth Spirit to control him up. They will lose Celery, and Toby, he's in deep. He has got the Ghost Step to protect him as he gets hit by a 4-second stun, but now the Phantasm is going to drag him in. Avalanche from Maris to try and save the day, but the BKB to drag him across and bring Toby down. 2-for-2 exchange. Shad's running out of time, though. He's like, I don't know where to go. I didn't build a Blink Dagger. That's not what Post 1 Night Stalkers do, my friend. And instead, you're going to come down in the daytime. You need to BKB and run away, but you don't have a TP, so this is going to be very difficult. Slowly but surely, Aaron looks like Shad is going to his grave.
He just can't deal with this CK. He's too big. He's absolutely. He's got 3.6k health, 4k health when he's got the armlet on, which he does.
Let's not forget that detail, because it was a cute idea from Viking. Like, you saw they done there, right? Like, Boom is baiting the entirety. Like, he wants to force all the attention on him so they can have the second round in their favor. And, like, credit to Celery on sustaining him. But I think now that there's a Satanic on Chaos Knight, you can't even say that sort of worked, let's tweak the idea. Like, you can't out-sustain this Chaos Knight in a fight anymore.
No. And if you're sustaining for what? Like, you can do maybe 50% of his life, but he's just going to build it back up. And you don't really have enough damage to kill this, the CK. You don't really have enough damage to kill the DK, who's got 3k health and 22 armor.
Mm-hmm.
And the Magnus is not untanky. So, I mean, you're going to tick them down eventually via Venomancer's stuff, but you're ticking them down after you're dead, pretty much.
I mean, even
so
then, it's going
the
to be hard.
fight's over by the time. It's going to be hard.
It's also the case, like, look at Venomancer. He only just got level 18. It's a noticeable increase in damage on the Poison Nova. Like, my kind of meaningful point has always been, why even level 1 Poison Nova? It's really underwhelming, right? Level 2, you kind of have that power spike, but the hero of Venomancer is meant to just be able to sit in a lane and, like, farm and get XP quickly to get to that third level. It's similar to what I was saying around, like, the Void Spirit idea, right? Like, between 8 and 12, it feels a little awkward. But for, like, the Venomancer, if you're not slowly pushing lanes, the hero feels awkward all the way till 12.
And even if you're getting more damage on the ult, so you're doing, what, 90 damage per second, the Dragon Knight regen is 75 per second right now.
Yeah, just a little bit.
So that's quite a lot. So
And-
you're not really ticking him down to anything.
Oh, they're going to actually go. Dark Ascension, chase in. Avalanche toss straight away on non-Grana. Start stop, so he can't even throw out an Ice Blast. They'll bring him down. BKB's get activated. Sonic Wave pushing away, but Dirache refuses to leave. Aramis will die. Kisani's already in deep. Boom has to blink away. They did use the Poison Nova, but now they need to somehow buy a lot of time. But the RP comes out. Connects on the Trude to drag it on the Shad as well. They're trying to heal him up right now, but Celery's already gone. A Night Stalker trying to fly away. He'll try and take Funnick with him, but he knows he's going to his grave. They bring down another hero, and with that, they're still able to push. I mean, all that matters, the only box you have to tick is Diraccio alive? And yes, he most definitely is. Toby, however, will not be long for this world.
This is feeling close to over, I think. I don't know. There's not really like a moment here where Viking GG come back into this, unfortunately.
They're kind of sitting there hoping for it, right? Like, so the thing I'll give them credit for is instead of just GG tapping out, like each of these fights, you've seen them try a different approach. The problem
Well,
is
they're trying to burst down the supports.
Yes, and the fight before, you remember they tried to like force the burst to then sustain. That didn't work, so now like snipe the supports. But like HellRaisers are so stacked at this point, AA is just a bonus. And
I don't think CK really needs the supports. Yeah,
no, he could 1v5 right now. He's Optimus Prime in Transformers 2. He's going to take them all. Celery's about 5 seconds.
Oh, dear.
That's when you just let go of the keyboard and mouse. You know you're done. Oh.
I think Viking GG are probably already thinking about the next game a little bit, which seems absurd because they're only 2k up.
It's effective use of net worth, though, right? Like that's something
the
we
net
talked
worth
about
is being
before.
so much better used.
Like usually, if a Chaos Knight is equal to the net worth of these other heroes, he's using it better. But he's not equal. He's several thousand gold ahead of the closest contender.
He's building a Skadi now as well. It's going to be even tankier. It's going to be even harder for Viking GG to sustain.
Yeah, there's going to be like no impact from the IO now. That big heal is barely going to be felt once the Skadi's complete.
Why do you think they decided that all cold things were bad for your regen? Seems like a weird decision.
I mean, it's interesting as well, right? Because cryo freezing could theoretically be good for your health if you're ill.
Exactly.
But why are we saying? Like, are we just saying that whoever's been cryo frozen will never be able to wake up again? They're actually dead?
Well, possibly. I don't think Walt Disney's coming back.
Jesus. You wait. Corporeal corpse incoming. You see him sitting on, like, throne, like, some sort of reference to Warhammer 40k. Probably come back in the year 40k to rule over Disney. God, there's an interesting...
That would be the... He'd make some sort of Disneyfied version of 40k if he came back.
Yeah, he'll become the Space Marines. Like, you know when you see those... there's, like, some movies that do it, right? There's, like, a reference like, in the 31st century or something, or the 40th century. And McDonald's has their own private military or something. Monster Energy now owns a country. There you go. That's the kind of stuff that would happen. So Walt's going to come back. It's like, why does Disney own Scotland?
God, Scotland's not a country that enjoy being owned, particularly.
No.
Least of all by Disney. I think they'd be unhappy about that.
The question is, were they cheap?
Probably would be.
There it is. All right, a Scottish person in chat just unfollowed you.
Yeah, you don't want to anger the Scots. I'm sorry about that.
No.
Apologies to all Scottish people.
They're very good at hiring American people to yell freedom and do very bad Scottish accents. Sorry, Mel. Also, a big sorry to the Viking base. I've been ignoring the fact that you're dying. Mainly because it's too gruesome to look at. Like, this feels like one of those games. We've had them. We stand there. Like, if they just dive tier 4s or even found.
He's got an Eye of Skadi just sitting in his backpack.
Doesn't need it.
Not interested.
Now he needs it. The dust to reveal, but he didn't hit him. They are getting a trade bot though. Like, they went in with Shad, so...
Oh shit, they've not noticed that.
Yep, they're noticing it now, but it's too late. Actually, TP got cancelled. Kisai tried to get away, but Aramis interrupted it right now. They need to reload across, but they didn't. They left Shad behind. Hello? I don't think the Night Stalk is meant to be here. Duracio's gone in. He's still going to fight right now. Boom throws out the Sonic Wave, but they'll jump right on top of him, right-click him down. He's able to blink away just in time. Shad has finally arrived, managed to get back to base. He's the Dark Ascension trying to chase in.
The whole range of racks.
Yeah, but here's the problem. There's a disarm on disarm right now. Chaos Knight is going to make him pay for it. Shad being brought low. Ice Blast off the mark. Stillery does save the day. Now turn around to Lil. He tries to roll out. Does make it down to the low ground. Forced to get Duracio out and away. Kisai is being ignored through this all. The stun, the turnaround. On the Boom. Avalanche buys time. Aramis ensuring that Quap's going to live through it. And they kill off the CK. They bring him down. They turn on the AA as well. And that buyback from Lil is feeling all but worthless right now. As they'll chase in. Maybe look to finish off Kaysani. But they have no way of stopping his TP out. They will, however, be able to find Phonic. And what
it was really nicely played by Viking GG. They both won a fight and got a full lane of racks. From nothing, that looked really hopeless for them. They properly turned it around. That's really good, like, target selection and split pushing. They managed to kill the CK and get a lane of racks. Well, I mean, what else can you ask for in a game like this?
Absolutely. And all of a sudden, Viking, they're 1 foot in the grave. They went, check that pulse. They're like, I'm not dead yet. They're ready to fight back. And they've still got 2 minutes.
They've only got a toe in the grave now.
Oh, yes. Although that toe could drag them back down when the CK is up. So they need to get maximum value out of this as they are going to pursue into the Radiant base.
CK doesn't have buyback. He's 2,000 gold off. He was so confident. They're going to get 2 lanes of racks here.
Plenty of time remaining. You'll even have that Dark Ascension when the CK is back up. Not that you're likely to need it. The repair kit did diddly squat to stop this push. Slow it down minutely. Kaysani force-staffed away. He will turn into the dragon. Try and deal with Shad a little bit, but he's so goddamn tanky. Roll in. Lil has committed, and he will die for it. They activate the BKB without hesitation on both of the cores. The Sonic Wave to ensure that there's no Earth Spirit for 90 seconds. That is going to be his dieback. Shad needs to get out clean now. Disarm onto the Magnus. He does have the RP. The disarm comes out to Shad, but there's a relocate back to base. And they will get everyone out clean. Irachio right now has to be praying that Roche will spawn almost instantaneous so that they can get themselves back into this.
Gonna be difficult now. I still think it's tough. I still think it's a game that's a touch in HellRaisers' favor here.
It's always that CK factor. Although something that has to be admitted here is Night Stalker is pretty spooky. Like he's about to hit 25. You might even see him go for the 100 with the night attack speed. He's got his AC and he has got that leveler in his backpack, right? So with the increased attack speed,
building an abyssal blade too.
Yes, and that's the point where this CK does have to be scared, because then you could burst him down to half HP or less before he can respond, because you have ample lockdown. We saw, especially from Aramis in the fight near their base, how effectively he can prevent people from even using items or even living. So.
And now, as well, the Queen of Pain's got a Lincoln Sphere, so she's significantly more difficult to take down for the CK.
But I mean,
the
they
CK
have
is going to be hard to kill.
I was gonna say they do have a lot of targeted, right? But you're all right. It gives you that window to know to blink away. Feels like there's a lot of pressure now on Phonic to do something good, and dying is not that.
Yeah.
A reload in. There's the RP. They say who's dying? Not me. Trying to bring the IO down, and they will be able to kill him off. The Dark Ascension does allow Shad to run away. Boom's own BKB will also allow him to escape. Or will it? Roll through. Lil on the mark. Does find him. Pops the Lincolns. He wants to buy some time, but when he comes down, he's in trouble. The Dragon Tail and the follow-up stuns will ensure the death of the boss 2 from Viking.
It's a shame.
That is the consolation prize. Shad's like, well, I'll just kill your courier. But now...
Roche isn't up, though.
No. But they can push in.
Need.
And it's up in 10 seconds. Boom is gone for 80. Now, I haven't got a degree in mathematics, but that does sound like a pretty big window to take down Roshan if they want. As they're about to find out because Phonic's in there. I think
Tiny's had to go for an Aeon disc. That's an interesting.
I mean, it's kind of suicidal, right? Like the last few fights, he has to just blink in, avalanche, toss, and it's like, I've done my part. And if they don't kill people, then he's gonna die. But yeah, not something we often see picked up on a hero that's kind of renowned for being one of the harder targets to kill. Especially when Toby doesn't have one. Then again,
Does not.
if he presses his buttons, he's done his part, right?
Got a Ghost Scepter, he's got a Crimson Guard, he's got a Glimmer Cape, he's got a lot of ways of surviving, and he's got a Magic Lamp now as well. So I think it is pretty hard to take down this Venom monster.
I can hear HellRaisers yelling challenge accepted as they have got themselves an Aegis and cheese and will probably look to kind of
It's not
challenge
that
you on
hard
that
to
statement.
take down the Venom monster. It's relatively easy,
the
but
backpedaling.
it's harder than it otherwise could have been.
Yeah, you know, instead of lasting 1.5 seconds, he's going to last 2.5 seconds. That's almost double the amount of time he's going to live.
It's an extra half a second, and you can do a lot in half a second.
Extra second, actually. I'm giving you more.
That's true. You are giving it a whole extra second. The whole world could change in a second.
Exactly. He could, in 1 second of not being stunned and dead, you could take your face, plant it on your keyboard, and use every spell.
You could make another Plague Ward.
There you go. You could,
And when he gets to level... What do you think is going to take at level 25? The
he'll take
Plague
the
Ward
poison
damage
over.
or the Poison Over AoE?
He'll take the poison over. A lot more people are taking poison over just because it like scatters the entire fight, right? Plague Ward's a nice in theory, but when was the last time we saw Toby get to... Oh, Toby, that's not how you use a smoke.
He's just TPing away.
He's like,
in
right,
shame.
I'll defend.
Sorry, guys.
But yeah, like when was the last time we've seen Toby get a chance to set up wards, like for real, to do something?
Not much. He's doing a lot of it around his tower.
Yes, but like when you're out and about, he's using them with scout. He's not using them to like siege or kill, because the moment he would turn up to use them to siege, he kind of gets a very dire case of dead.
The thing we've not
Aramis.
talked about is the Queen of Pain level 25 Scream of Pain Fear is really good against the CK illusions.
'Cause we're too busy talking about Celery dying.
We're too busy talking about, yeah.
That has
Not
been
a
happening a
wonderful time.
lot. But you are right. We mentioned it before. This is a very powerful talent, especially against the CK illusions. And CK, because he didn't take the piercing spell immunity, he did go for the Phantasm in the end. He doesn't have the means to use the burst to quick take. Aramis, however, is a different matter. Boom is trying to save the day. He will scare away Duraccio, but not for very long because of that Satanic. It's tiny. Looking very tiny right now as he gets burnt out.
No buyback as well.
Nope. That's still on cooldown. 100 seconds dead. They know this. And you already see Shad's doing the only thing they can do right now, which is trying to cut the wave. They are coming. He might get caught. He needs to be KB. If he tries to TP you out. Oh, no. No. Are they going to get it? Okay. Interesting that Lil didn't commit another remnant there. I guess they like weren't confident they had narrowed down where he was.
Tough. He's a little bit hidden, isn't he?
Yeah, it's one of those moments where Shad's going to like watch it and replay and go...
I came so close to dying there.
That was almost the game, lads. I mean, he'd have buyback, but like the moment you get forced into that buyback, yeah, you're just done. Because right now, I feel like you're not in there, you're able to dish damage and control. We've already highlighted that no one else in Viking does.
Who do you think they'll go on in these fights? Do you think they're going to go straight into the Magnus?
I think they have to, right? Because the problem is that you can't hard commit onto him. Speaking of that Magnus, he just found Boom. Linkers gets popped, movement in on the Queen of Pain, and she is just gone. Shad also arrives. But they're going to roll in. They'll stay on top of him and try and force that BKB out. But there's Celery to save the day again. And we also know how the day saving ends. Afterwards. Just a few moments. But not before Toby gets killed. He says, I pressed my buttons. I done my part. Reload. Back across. I mean, it's a ballsy play from Celery. It sort of helps Toby for the moment. But then he immediately realizes he's even further from safety as they're both going to die.
That's rough. That is really rough.
I mean, that was like a brainy player, right? I think even we for a moment went, wait, where did the Veno go? It was like, Celery?
They've got 3 buybacks here. What? Yeah,
they don't want to use it.
They can fight this. They don't want to use them. They're going to have to.
Moving in, Avalanche control, Sonic Wave, Duraccio, BKBs, and chases in. No Phantasm for 40 seconds. Shad being forced away, but the overall right clicks though. Kasani, he's ready to throw out some stuns, but there's the Dark Ascension again. It came off cooldown. They'll jump straight on top of the Dragon Knight and burst him down. And Duraccio now in a world of trouble. No Phantasm for 30. This is enough time to potentially burst him down twice, but they need to be quick. The 5-second stun means they're going to get turned around on here. The buybacks do come out on the side of HellRaisers. They look to re-engage. They are finally taking him down. They finally have a Spirit Vessel charge to work with, but Duraccio is sustaining through it all. He refuses to give over 1 life, let alone 2. They do break the Lincolns, so Quap needs to be a little bit careful, but not 2. There is a Magnus, but no RP. It's now coming off cooldown. If they bait them in, this could be big. Duraccio, he wants them to kill him, but they're ignoring him the whole time. He's going to start to heal up now and force them on top of him. But now Phonic's nowhere nearby. There it is. BKB RP straight in on top of him. And now they can't do anything. They lost the Chaos Knight. They're going to try and burst through him. The buyback's going to come out. Now they'll have to force this to bring down the side of Viking. Buyback comes out for the Night Stalker. They're killing them off one by one and chasing in. And Duraccio with the Silver Race chasing forward, looking for the next target. Not able to find it. Just finds the illusion. But now you can close out the game. There was no Veno for 110 seconds. You do commit a big buyback, but it's on a CK that took forever and a day to die last time.
Well, partially because they ignored him because he
they want the Aegis to
Aegis,
expire.
but it ticked down, and that's great. But he right before dying, he used his Phantasm on no health, which wasn't the best move, but it's worked well for them. They're pushing down these racks.
It seemed like there was a little bit of awkward coordination there, right? Like Phonic was backing away, and then the call came, and he tried to get there. If he gets there a second sooner, that's the entirety of Icon Wipe. Duraccio just still alive, and them in complete control.
I think he was expecting the RP to come slightly... I mean, it was a reasonable RP. It hit 4 people, but I think he was expecting it to come 3-4 milliseconds earlier almost. And if it had come 3-4 milliseconds, that would have been probably a complete wipe, and then close to being the game. Which is a shame. I think the RPs in this game haven't been quite good enough, really, to properly control Vikings team fight, which is probably why the game has held out a little bit longer than it could have, which is a shame for HellRaisers.
It's usually that discombobulation effect. They are a little bit split at times. But when they're together, anything is possible. If they can actually just be in sync in these timings, which they'll have an opportunity again in 30 seconds. You can already see that Kasani has moved towards bots, so they're looking to close out this game before the next Roche is on the menu.
Oh, pause. Who's gone?
Oh.
No one. They're just having a nice time.
This is one of those moments you sit in silence. It's like, so Viking, you want to continue? Because we're coming. Your
We're gonna
base.
use a little time to have a quick chat, I think. Maybe a slight puppy pause.
I wish we had more smack talking notes. This is way
Do
too
you?
polite. Yeah, I do.
It is a polite game.
Yeah, we're very shy people. We're very humble. Whereas like,
Viking nice boys. I don't think they could do smack talk.
I reckon they could. I think Celery would surprise.
Possibly. Maybe a little bit of smack talk from Celery. He's a lovely little vegan guy. He cares about animals. I mean, he
Here's the
hates
thing,
plants,
like,
to be fair to him.
Here's the thing: people use like the word vegan. It's like it's immediately like the person's nice. Maybe he just enjoys murdering plants. You said he doesn't like them.
Yeah. Can't stand him. That's why he calls himself Celery, because of his love of crunching the bones of the celery plant.
There you go. Exactly. Like he spells it incorrectly as an insult to Celery. They will never be as good as he is.
Smack talk.
Moving in. They have found the CK. Not an easy target though. Stun out on a boom. Does force the BKB, but Funnick with the RP straight away. Sees the opportunity. And now with the Phantasm trying to get rid of the Eldest saves the day. They will be able to find Ion instead. Sonic Wave does not change that. Toby does get the Poison Nova out. They are going to tick down a little bit, but they have so much sustain here. You just need to get out. The roll through does connect on the boom. They'll pop the Lincolns and roll straight out. Little back across to a different target. Shad did go in. The BKB gets activated. Duraccio fighting up with his own. He'll back off for the moment because he realizes the bigger BKB being lost here is Shad. They'll look to reinitiate. Aramis does get dragged in towards the CK. A lot of time bought, but no follow-up's going to be there. So instead, the Tiny is going to go down. Dead for 115 seconds without buyback.
That's going to be rough. They can push through now. I like all the Aeon discs on Viking GG, but they've built so defensively on all three of their cores, aside from, like, well, two of their cores are very defensive, the Venom Monster and as well the Queen of Pains, mostly defensive items. So the problem is that they're not doing quite enough damage. They're managing to kill some of these heroes, but they're so tanky that it's just not fast enough.
Yeah, it's that kind of time-old feeling of if I build a BKB in a Lincoln, I know I'm having a rough one. And I don't think we've ever really come up with a true one for if I have to build a BKB, a Lincoln's, and an Aeon disc.
And a Yule Scepter as well. That's 4 defensive items. And like a Shiva's Guard is not that offensive.
No. I mean, the regen reduction is nice, but ultimately it's like, please don't insta-kill. Instead, they'll just insta-kill your buildings because they don't get the benefit of any sort of extra armor. And Duraccio says, it's time to close this one out, boys. We've had our fun with Viking, but time to send them back to the drawing board. Boom just trying to buy some time. BKB rolling right on top of Toby. They jump on top of the 5-second start. The Ghost Step is going to run out before that. Ice Blast is through. Shab with the BKB chasing with the Dark Ascension. But Chaos Knight only down to half HP. It's not good enough. Toby's dead. They'll turn around. Look to try and poke away at these towers. They're waiting to heal up a little bit with the Satanic and go again. But the fear does come out from Boom. Trying to buy enough time. Duraccio is getting low. They'll jump in straight away with the Abyss. We'll force stuff to get him out and away, though. They're trying to chase through Sonic Wave to get him low. BKB from Funnick tries to skewer away, but can't. He's brought down. And they'll find the CK as well. They're able to run them through. Find the buyback on the Magnus straight away. And Lil will be the bonus meal on the side. As he tries to move out, they will chase. And they will find. And they will kill.
Still rough, though. Still rough times. I don't know if that Magnus needed to buy back.
Anticipation ribbon, maybe?
Yeah, you know, might as well, just in case.
It's like, don't worry, guys. I bought back so I can empower my carry to fight. Oh, he's dead, isn't he?
He's dead. Well, he's empowered the Dragon Knight. He's going to help him get his Satanic.
He just looks at the DK. Can you build a Manta so I feel like I'm playing with the Chaos Knight again?
They're both red. They're similar guys.
It's like
They're
in one
knights.
of those sitcoms where someone starts dressing someone like their ex because they want them to be them. Right? It's like, can you just be this person? Jesus, that got depressing.
He'll never replace him, though.
Okay, Roche is going to be up in 20 seconds. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Viking have the ability to click the crap out of that big boy in the pit quick enough before the CK is back.
They don't know about it, though.
No, they haven't got a Courier. They don't care about
it. They do have a Courier.
They will care, though. Celery's been found. Avalanche to buy some time. The Ice Blast will kill him off. The jump in right away onto the AA, but the disarm does come out to Shad. He doesn't want to use that BKB just yet. The RP does connect onto 2, but you don't have the damage on your CK, or do you? Shad brought low. He's going to go down. He didn't get a chance to BKB. Aramis, he needs to do a lot of work here. Boom actually doesn't really have the damage to follow through with this. They're trying, but he is just fighting against inevitable death here. As Toby is slithering on in, he will throw out the Poison Nova. Only connects onto 3. I say only, big range with the AoE will allow him to poison them all up, but the damage is not there, and Boom is dead. And that fatal error might have just cost Viking the game. They'll hunt forward looking for Toby. They say, how do you like stuns, little boy? Because we've got a Dragon Tail, we got a roll, and we got your GG. Game 1 in the hands of HellRaisers.
Wow. That was a good game. I think HellRaisers did win on the draft, and I think it's impressive that Viking GG managed to turn their draft into such a 53-minute long game when it looked hopeless for so long in that game. So credit to them, but HellRaisers outdrafted them and I think played their draft very well in addition.
Yeah, you could definitely see that Viking, whether it's through cockiness or confidence, they had this idea of when the game had to end for them, or when they could completely take control of the game, right? And it almost felt like that map close didn't come quick enough. I especially want to put a big highlight on how long HellRaisers kept that tier 1 mid up, because I think that was pivotal in stemming the aggression that Viking could bring at that stage in the game.
They really needed to control the mid game. They really needed to properly shut down the CK. They needed to shut down the DK and the Magnus, and they just didn't manage to do any of those things because, as you say, they didn't take the tower quick enough. I think the Veno was just too slow at moving from fight to fight. But they took those late game fights really, really well. They did a lot with a little, and that's impressive. And I think it shows why they're a force to be reckoned with. But for them to beat HellRaisers in game 2, they're going to need a much better draft.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think that what we saw here was them kind of drafting themselves into a corner. Usually Viking are really good at having this backup plan, right? They'll have these 4 aggressive heroes, and then they'll have like the Lunas or the Jugs we're talking about. And I do want to go back to the draft. It did feel like a lot of the potent options available to them were removed, right? Like we saw that at the end. We were kind of strong. It was like, do they Juggernaut? Or maybe be Juggernauting into like a CK and maybe, or do you go for like what was the other option? I think there was one other one we were considering.
Ursa we quite liked
yes,
as well.
Ursa. But then even Ursa curves off, right? Like Ursa has a point where you start getting diminishing returns. So credit to HellRaisers. Definitely an outdraft, but definitely a great display out of both teams. And I'm excited for this next one. Like the first series, I'm not gonna lie, it was kind of all Viking, right? Like there was moments where Unique had the spicy play here and there, but it was always Viking. This game, however, back and forth.
They'll be disappointed of it, but I think they can bounce back. But HellRaisers showed 3 stand-ins. There are no pushovers, and I think they're going to prove themselves further.
Yeah, definitely looking promising. Hoping to see even bigger plays from Funnick if you get something like the Magnus again. As I think that's maybe the weak point that Viking might try and exploit a little bit. Is Funnick was maybe being forced into these RP situations that aren't favorable or arriving just a second too late. Other than that, though, really good play from HellRaisers. Game 1, though, is in the hands of the CIS team. Viking, we're going to have to see if they can at least keep their score at 3-1 at the end of the day, or if it's going to be an even Stevens 2-2 overall for them.